Hey everyone, it's Nikhil here, the host of the Mindset Miles podcast, and this is going to be our first episode of the podcast. We're really glad that we're able to bring this to you. I am a varsity cross country runner for Southline East. I'm relatively accomplished, and the goal is to get as many runners on here as possible and post as frequently as possible so you guys can enjoy the podcast. I'm also here with my friend and producer Easton. He's going to be our first guest of the podcast. So why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm also a varsity runner at Southline East, but I'm way less accomplished than Nikhil, and he's a couple minutes faster than me. So I'm going to be producing this podcast as you follow along on the journey. But as you may know, this is just kind of a fun podcast that you get to listen to while you're running or while you're just sitting down. So, Nikhil, what do you want to talk about right now?
I think we can just start about how our sport's going. So, do you have hockey right now?
Yeah, I have hockey.
So, how's that going? What are you guys doing for practice and stuff?
Well, we practice every Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes Saturday or the other Sunday. And playoffs is coming up, so it's getting really, we got to make the playoffs right now. It's getting just really tense.
Or are the playoffs for states, regions?
Regions right now.
All right, that'll be cool.
But I'm still trying to run. But as you guys hear, like that's a really tough schedule. So the way I make sure my schedule isn't tight, I make a list of things that I need to do during the day, whether it be schoolwork, sports, and I find times during my day to do those things. So what you want to do is you can go to Google Calendar, any sort of calendar app you have, and if you got school, list your school time. If you got work, list your work times, and then any other thing, list those times, and look where you don't have things and label them run. And that's the perfect time to do your runs, your workouts, anything you need. You agree, Nikhil?
Yeah, and I will say, Easton kind of knows what he's talking about because, he'll make stuff work. This is the same kid that came. Where was your hockey tournament? Toledo?
Yeah, no, Cleveland.
Cleveland. Yeah, he came from Cleveland, Ohio, all the way to DeWitt. If you don't know, that's probably a 6 hour drive at least.
Like it was close to 5.
Yeah, so he was in the tournament for hockey in Cleveland, and then came to DeWitt for a 5K invitational for cross country, and then went back to this tournament. So when it comes to scheduling multiple sports, that's not really my thing. I kind of only do one sport. So yeah, the Easton is pretty well versed in that.
It was a bit of backstory. It's just not I went right to the meet because it was meet. This was honestly a pretty important meet because DeWitt was actually a regionals course, and our Coach Mack, really wanted me to run that. He kept telling me like, I don't think you should do that hockey tournament. You really got to run this. So I look at this when I get the schedule for a tournament, maybe 2 weeks beforehand, and I'm like, that's a Friday morning game. DeWitt was Friday afternoon, but I had a Saturday morning game. So Mom's like, I don't want to do all that driving if you're gonna miss the game. But I'm like, no, this is important. It's my regionals course. So we just did the drive. I got a bit of hours in once I obviously crossed the border, but it was just I really liked the course the first time around. The second time around, it was just the weather, honestly.
Yeah.
Turning into fall.
You still ran pretty well though.
Yeah, so. I did. Well, I think Alex almost beat me there. I think he ran 1840 and I ran 1830.
1830.
Which is 45 seconds below my PR, but great time, honestly.
Considering you're living off a couple hours of sleep and
yeah, because school was picking up there.
Yeah.
So you guys may be asking, like, how am I going to come back from such a bad time like that? 45 seconds off your PR in peak of the season isn't good. Not right, Nikhil?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, Mitka, right? I signed up for Mitka maybe October. It was mid in the season. Actually, kind of late. But I'm like, I don't want to do Mitka this year. I hadn't freshman year. No.
For those who don't know, that's the Michigan Meet of Champions, states after states.
But it was what, December 3rd, I think.
November.
November
10 something.
Yeah, it was late. It was cold. I don't think there was any snow yet.
No,
it was
close.
still freezing. So I'm coming off my mind. I'm like, not a great meet at DeWitt. And Nikhil actually got into the elite, and he ran beforehand, and he did really well. So I'm like, conditions aren't great, but if Nikhil can do well, I can do well. So I'm coming out there at the starting line, and there's tons of people. I mean, hundreds of people because it's the all-comers race.
I think it was like 200 some per race.
Yeah, and so I'm at the starting line. I'm with our quote unquote team, which is my brother, Nikhil's brother, and Nikhil's dad. And was Vinant there?
I don't think so.
No,
Was
Vinant will be a future guest on this podcast. He's currently in 8th grade, and he's a very skilled runner. But anyways, we're at the starting line, and I'm looking around, and I see these dudes, 4-year-olds to 35-year-olds to 60-year-olds. So I'm like, this is literally an all comers. So I get out on that starting line, and I think I'm gonna PR, because Mitka, Meet of Champions, Shepherd, it's just an insane course, very flat. Like, you can speak from experience.
Oh yeah,
One hill.
not even.
But I come out there and I get boxed out. And any time I get boxed out, I'm in my headspace like crap. But this time I didn't. So I come out there, get boxed out, but I come back. And for some reason, I actually didn't pick up my pace like I should have. But it didn't really matter. So 1 mile, I'm a little behind pace. 2nd mile, I'm on pace. 3rd mile, I'd slow down a bit. And that last 200, I was all gone. I mean, I didn't train. Personally, I didn't train as best as I should have, but it really felt it during that last sprint. And I was only 4.5 seconds off of my PR, and it was just great. I bounced back from a bad race at my peak, and on my slow decline, I come back amazing. Want to talk about your experience at Mako?
Yeah. So I was put into this elite race, and I wasn't the slowest on. So basically, you get drafted on the teams that are like local running companies. I was on the slower half of my team. I think it was 7 or 8 per team. But I was like right in the middle. So I was in the back of our box. So I mean that's not great. Same thing at States. I was right in the back of the box. So of course the start's gonna be a little messy, but I decided I might as well just go and run. So I run. I came through the first mile, I think a little slower than I did at States. And at States I really learned like just stick to the plan. It's all gonna work out as long as you stay composed. So I was like, all right, I got this. And then miles 1 to 2, I got tripped. This is not exaggerating. I didn't fall, but I got tripped up like 20 plus times because there's 140 kids in this race on this like tight packed course, and I realistically could have pushed harder. Like everyone else showed up that day, everyone else PR'd. I was one of the few who didn't. So, and it wasn't a bad race. Plenty of people would be happy for my time. It just wasn't my best race. Though I could have pushed harder. I got tripped up a bunch, but like, knowing that you're able to go through a race like that and still do what you've done consistently, you just gotta have in your head that you've done it before, so you can do it again, regardless of one bad result.
And keep in mind, this doesn't really mean races, workouts too. If you go on a workout and you don't get the time you want, don't get the coach what he said you need. Don't be like, oh damn, I suck. Go out there and do better than what you want to do. Do out there and do better what coach has told you to do.
So it's also important when you're running, whether it be in the race or easy, to have the ability to stay present and just know what you're doing. So that could be anything from like actually taking in the scenery to realizing how fast you're running and the splits, or like, hey, I'm doing really well today, or I'm not doing well. So Easton, you got any like tips or anything specific relating to that?
Well, I mean, I got a couple of things too. My go-to is usually running with someone, because usually if I run with someone, I choose someone faster, 30 seconds, 45 seconds faster on a 5K, not obviously in the workout. And I just run with them. So freshman year, I ran with this kid named Isaac, who's a junior now. He was quite a bit faster than me, but obviously I worked out with him a lot. So I actually beat him in the final race. And then this year, for the incoming freshman Jack Maher, he was at the start of the season. He was at camp and stuff. He was slower than me, but he actually beat me in lamplighter. But no, so I'm like, I want to workout with Jack, and we actually kind of close at the end of the year. He went middle. We were back and forth, but at the end of the year, Richard, uh, regionals,
I
he
think once
got
you
me.
guys started training for um Mitka, you guys were able to get a little closer in both
Hmm.
times and
Yeah,
personally.
certainly. So also, I know Nikhil isn't a big fan of listening to music, but nor is David Goggins. But I like listening to music because it just keeps me focused on what's next, honestly. And I'm not big on like singing the songs out loud or doing that. I just think it just gives me a rhythm, you know. And Nikhil, anything else?
I mean, to get more into the music thing, like it's not that I don't like listening to music. I actually love listening to music. I'm listening to music if no one's talking to me or I'm not like
Mm.
doing really deep work, I'm probably listening to music. So that's a big part of my life. But like it's not about the music, but it's about what the music does, or I guess what not having music does. Because when you're running to be present and you're running to make yourself tougher, whether like you're training for a race or you're just training to train. So like you're not gonna get significantly tougher if you're listening to music and feeding into shortening your attention span, because you might not be like overstimulated necessarily, but like you're already getting stimulated by running outside. You
Mm.
have all the scenery and stuff. Treadmill is one thing. I still
Yeah,
don't do it on the treadmill, but
I
like
do. I do it on the treadmill.
yeah, it's more understandable on the treadmill. But like outdoors, it's also like there's people that I want to be better than and I want to beat, and they're listening to music. So why would I do what they're doing if I want to be better than them?
Mm.
If I'm trying to beat them, there's no point in me doing what they do because my goal is to be better than them and not to be the same. You know.
Yeah, I really agree there. Personally, I just like to listen to music so I can get to the start, get into my mindset. But as I get into the run, mile, 2 miles in, I'll probably take them out, or I'll turn it down a bit. Because honestly, my favorite part of running, if it's just a light run, not actually, I don't want to say light run, but enough to talk in sentences, not paragraphs. But I like to talk. I'll usually run with Jack, and I'll just talk to him and like, hey, do you like bring up something, he responds, take a sec to breathe. Like those kind of runs, I really love because you get to know someone better. Like I can't tell you countless times when I'm last year when I'm running with then sophomores that I learned something new about him, especially when I was running with Isaac because I was around him.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, frankly, I'm running alone a lot of the time, so like I'm kind of just doing math in my head, like when I get to an even number in kilometers or like thirds of a mile or something, I'll kind of just do quick math in my head to figure out what pace am I going average.
Mm-hmm. And the key point, but that's enough what Nikhil said. Math, unironically, is a huge part of running. You gotta calculate your splits, and I think I do more math during all cross country than I think I did in math. And because you got to calculate your splits every time you see a clock or you hear someone yelling splits, like what was my time while running? That you just gotta have that right mindset. Add the name of the podcast, obviously.
Do you
So,
guys have any like, I mean, I guess what would be like the equivalent of splits in like hockey?
well, I don't want to say splits, but I don't calculate. I just see the angles. Like if this puck bounces off the boards, where's he going? Or where's the goalie moving? It's a lot of angles in hockey, not much literal number math. But like is this
Mm-hmm.
gonna go that way, this way? But a lot of hockey is physics. You gotta know your physics. Like I'm short. I'm barely over 5 foot. If I go up to the 6'4", 350-pound dude, I'm not gonna kill him unless I have the speed of sound. So yeah, this happened the other night, right? I also have this teammate who's just as short as me. He goes up against this 6'2", maybe 200-pound dude, and I told him like, go hit the dude, but don't expect to put him on his ass. But he hit him, and he bounced off him. I mean, it looks like a cartoon. And he comes back to the bench and tells me, like, what? You told me to hit him, and now I'm on my butt. So I'm like, Bryce, I told you you're not gonna kill him, but at least make a statement, like, oh, I'm gonna get you, you know? And that's kind of the same thing in running, you know? If you want to get that guy, dude, I don't know. I think it might have been DeWitt, but I'm struggling going on that second half, and I get passed by this Chelsea dude, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Oh my!
And
I hate when they talk.
that ruins your headspace.
Or like the Lakeland double duo, bro.
Oh my god.
Remember that freshman year?
Hmm.
Oh my!
That was bad.
I hate when people talk during meets. That is just like unruly. That's not good sportsmanship.
It's not good sportsmanship. I mean, it works though. Unless you're dead yourself, you should say a word like "Hey ya."
I mean, I'm just saying. Like,
it's not good sportsmanship.
I absolutely dominated the double duel when I talked back to the guy that was talking to me. I think he ended up having an issue, so he had to like drop out. But still.
Mm-hmm. So I think we should talk about a lot today, and obviously the key points. You want to go over the key points, Nikhil?
Yeah. So it's very important to find balance. Not necessarily, you got to be intense, but it's important to have, a schedule and know what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. And it's also important to stay composed and follow the plan even when it looks like it's not working. And we actually just went over. What did we just go over? My mind's blanking right now.
We did that. So yeah, we just went over how to come back from going from the bottom, essentially. Yeah. So that's a wrap. Nikhil, any final words?
I mean, not really. Just thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed this first episode, and stay speedy.